8 reasons why you need a professional to sell your home. Please join me and find out why. Hello everyone, Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty. Wanted to talk to you about whether or not you should sell your house on your own or list with an agent. This morning I was listening to a video of a couple for sale by owner, and they were listing their reasons why it was better for them to remain on the market and not list with an agent. Their first point was they were using Facebook. And they were saying that they're getting lots of likes and lots of comments, but no offers coming through that channel. Well, when you list with an agent, you get to go on Facebook, you get to go on YouTube, you get to go on Instagram, and you get to get a lot of exposure. But those comments and those exposures don't actually bring offers. Offers come through agents. Offers come through serious buyers that are working with agents who trust those agents to bring them over to a house, and then if they fall in love with the house, then they write an offer. The other reasons that the sellers were giving was that the agent that they were interviewing came over to their house and wasn't completely fallen over in love with the house. Well, folks, we are like the doctors and the nurses. When you go to a hospital, they are very, very much non-emotional, and that's the whole point. If they are emotional with every patient that walks through the door, then they can't do their job properly. You want somebody who is detached and can be a professional, can use their head, can treat this as a business, and that way they can do a better job than the seller themselves, because the sellers are emotional about the house. They're going to act emotionally in a transaction that doesn't necessarily need to be an emotional transaction. So you want somebody who's detached, and that person is not going to be the seller. The other points that they were bringing up was seller's motivation. Well, they were saying that they have a lot of neighbors who are telling them, how about you do a rent to own? And then they were explaining that, okay, they want to cash out and move on with their lives. And rent to own is not exactly what they want to go with. Well, if you are listing with an agent and having that agent do all the steps that it takes to bring an offer, then you are not wasting your time. You're very precise, and you're getting to the point. You want offers now, you want to negotiate, and you want to be moving on to the next point in your life, and that's why you're selling your house in the first place, correct? So the other issues that they were talking about was the comps, that the agent brought the comps and the comps weren't exactly correct for the property. They did mention that it was very hard to comp their house. So what happens in that scenario? Well, in a scenario like that, you still have to use the comps, even if they're not exactly matching your property, but an appraiser still needs to appraise the house, and those comps are going to be the comps that the appraiser uses. But when you have your house on the market, then you get to expose the house to the whole world, and the market will determine the price of your home. And that's what you really want. You want the market to dictate how much your house is going to be worth. If you have improvements, if you have certain features about your house that are more attractive than the house next door, then that buyer who's going to fall in love with your house will appreciate those features and will pay for it, what it's worth. Other reasons, neighborhood. They were mentioning that they are sandwiched between a neighborhood that is very desirable and not so desirable. And that's the reason why their house is not selling. Well, that is a good point, a point that you want a professional to present it in the right way, so that the buyer doesn't get turned off because they think, oh, okay, it's a great house, but it's in a bad neighborhood. Well, you don't want to present it that way. You want to present it in a way that the house is a great house in a up and coming neighborhood, so that it's not labeling the house being in a bad neighborhood. The other part that I thought was very interesting, they were mentioning that the neighborhood floods, and a couple of years ago the city had basically taken over the houses that were in the flood zone and had turned it into a stadium, and the stadium was right next door to their property. Well, what comes into my mind is, ooh, let me see if the stadium is going to flood the next time we have heavy rains, then this house is going to flood too. Well, and we can't help it. If the house is going to flood, the house is going to flood. But that's not the first thing that you want to tell the buyer. So disclosures are disclosures. Whatever is the features of the house, positive or negative, you can't do anything about that. But what we can do is to present it properly so that the buyer still falls in love with the house and is also aware of the issues that the house may have. These are all items that a professional can do a better job presenting than a seller who's only selling a house maybe once, twice, or 5 times in an entire year. Whereas we are doing this day in and day out. We can present it better, we can sell it better, we can negotiate it better, and ultimately we can get you top dollar. And that's the reason why you want to hire a professional. Next time you're thinking of selling your house, think of hiring a professional. It's always going to end up with more money in your pocket going that route. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like us and subscribe to our channel, and we always welcome your questions or comments, so please write them below. Have a great day.